Man's engine sub!
Ah! Heavy. This is for you.
Ah!
Heavy.
Yes!
Are you filming in the living room? Oh, well, I am at the hotel right now, and I am waiting for you to film.
There you are, Heavy. We can finally start filming my very special video.
Yes!
Here.
Hello guys, I am Banjo-Kazooie, the official host for both red and blue teams. As I said earlier, this is going to be a very unique, personal and special video. In fact, for this special occasion, I want to try something new. Just give me a second.
Alright. Is it working? Yes? Perfect. So this is my real voice, guys. Guys? What's the matter? That's just my real voice. I know it feels different, but there's nothing to worry about. So today, I'm going to discuss about something I already talked about in a previous video. Something that I used to enjoy before, until it became annoying over time. You saw the name of the video, so you already know what it is. Today, we are going to talk about my couch. It's better than yours. Just kidding. Just kidding. Today's subject is actually going to be fail compilations. And yes, I can already hear you saying, fail compilations? Where is this coming from? Is he really going to talk for several minutes about some crap that he dislikes? I came here to watch random and stupid videos. In fact, this is actually random and stupid. Indeed, I understand that it sounds really random and you certainly need some explanations about this. Why did I choose to talk about it? Well, on June 6th, 2016, I released this video, my top 10 favorite girl fails 2016, which is not what it seems to be. I actually wanted to make a prank for my viewers, along with sharing my opinion about these compilations. I wanted to gain people's attention before discussing about it in the comment section, so I could start a conversation with a few people to know about their opinion and to develop the subject. And it failed. Nobody cared about it. Except for this person, Bonzi Buddy, who gave me some support. By the way, thanks buddy. And what about the video itself? Awful. Really, really awful. And it was released only 1 week after Stanley's Daily Life, my most ambitious video at the time. I must have been sick. Needless to say that I completely messed it up. It came out of nowhere, it was too vague, it was rushed, and I never came back on the subject ever again. In fact, I could actually have deleted this video and pretend that it never existed. But instead, I want to assume a mistake and to do what I should have done 2 years ago. That's why I'm here today. Even though fail compilations isn't a popular subject to talk about, unlike TV shows, video games, science, or politics, I really want to give you something more detailed, complete, and better. At least, more than this. I want to make something that I can be proud of, so I can take this topic out of my mind and move on to something else. So, now that you understand everything, let's begin. Like I said in my fake top 10 video, I don't really find watching people falling and hurting themselves to be that funny. I already explained in that video that it's because of the empathy that I feel for people in general. For those who don't know, empathy can be described as the capacity to understand or feel what another person is experiencing from within the other person's frame of reference. In other words, the capacity to place oneself in another's position. When I described myself as a nice, peaceful and generous man back in Stanley's daily life, it was all sincere. Even in real life, I'm a very gentle person all the time, which explains all the empathy that I feel for people. So when I watch other people getting hurt, I can't help but to put myself in their shoes and feel exactly what's happening to them. Of course, you can still find it funny, even by feeling empathy for them. Enjoying these compilations doesn't make you a cruel person after all. Maybe I'm just too sensible for these. I mean, I'm just saying that when I see someone getting hurt, the first thing that I usually want to do is to help them, to see if they're fine. So, does it mean that I also hate slapstick comedy?
Slap what?
Slapstick comedy is a style of humor that uses physical activity in an exaggerated way and most of the time shows people getting hurt in various ridiculous ways. Everyone has already seen this before in silent films from Laurel and Hardy or Charlie Chaplin, in cartoons, and even in video games. Even if their injuries look painful, it's so over the top and ridiculous that it becomes natural to laugh at it. Also, whatever happens to them, we always see them back on their feet a few seconds later, like nothing happened, which makes the comedy even better. But in failed compilations, however, the pain is not simulated nor faked, it's real. While movies and cartoons use professional comedians and fictive characters for their visual gags, failed compilations use random and ordinary people who can be submitted to various and real injuries. And sometimes it can be the kind of injuries that generally cause fractures or concussions. It's not necessarily what happens in these videos, but it could have happened here. And by keeping that in mind, it's pretty difficult for me to find that funny. But you know what? Since I released my fake top 10 video, I actually realized that most of the time it's not even that bad. I was probably just exaggerating at the time. Maybe I should actually laugh at stuff like this after all. Or even this. And sometimes it's actually soft enough to make me laugh a bit. In fact, many of these videos aren't even about pain. Only animals or kids doing silly stuff. It's just about families or friends having hilarious moments to share on television or on the internet. So does it mean that I don't hate these compilations anymore? No. I still do. I have other reasons to hate them. So far, I've been only talking about the content of these failed compilations. Now, let's talk about the concept itself and where it all started. Did you ever wonder how this concept has begun?
No.
Well then, let's do a bit of history. It all started in January 11, 1986, with the release of Kato-chan Ken-chan Gokigen TV on the Tokyo Broadcasting System channel. It was a Japanese variety show, similar to the Benny Hill show, with satirical comedy sketches that made fun of contemporary society in Japan, as it was in the 80s. At the time of the show's release, camcorders started to become popular in Japan. To take advantage of that, the show had a special segment where viewers could send their funny home videos by mail, which Ken Shimura and Shakato, the two stars of the show, would comment on. Then, in 1989, this concept was bought by an American producer, Vindy Bona, so he could develop it in America, which led to the popular show America's Funniest Home Videos, which could have an average of 38 million viewers per episode during its first season, and is still going today with 28 seasons. Because of its very low cost to produce, and because of its popularity, several shows have been created to reproduce this concept over the years, such as Australia's Funniest Home Videos, It Only Hurts When I Laugh, Ridiculousness, You've Been Framed, World's Craziest Fools, Heroes of the Internet, etc. Even where I live, in Quebec, we have shows like these, such as Oops and Rire et Délire. Et en effet, je parle bien le français, qui est ma langue maternelle. For each of these shows, the viewers had to send their own videos by mail or online, except for Ridiculousness, where the stunts shown are considered too dangerous to reproduce. America's Funniest Home Videos even had contests for the best videos, where up to $100,000 could be won. At the end, all of these TV shows eventually led to the compilations that we can find on YouTube nowadays. And that's the end of a bit of history. So, what's my problem with this concept? I mean, these shows are not expensive to make, they're simple, they're funny, and people enjoy them. That's why there are so many of them. Even I, as a kid, enjoyed these shows. So why do I hate them so much nowadays? Well, let's suppose that you've also been watching these shows or these compilations for years, and you always enjoyed them, just like me. But after watching someone falling off their bike multiple times, or a piñata accident several times, or a Tarzan rope accident dozens of times, or two people holding balls and running into each other many times, don't you feel like you're watching the exact same thing over and over again? Like you're being told the exact same joke several times in a row? And that's another reason why I hate these compilations nowadays, because of how repetitive and previsible most of them are. It may not be a big deal for you, but I think there's a problem when I can easily guess what will happen in a video before it even happens. There is no surprise or punch or anything to defy your expectations. I mean, of course, as I said earlier, slapstick comedy is not always about taking spectators by surprise. Instead, the humor comes from the injuries of the actors or the characters, like in these compilations. But in spite of that, after watching this stuff for years, I can easily get tired of it after only 3 minutes. Am I really supposed to sit through this for 10 minutes? Or 20 minutes? 30 minutes? An hour? 10 hours! And as a reminder, this is a concept that exists since the 80s, 30 years ago. And the only difference that I see between before and now is the devices used for filming, starting with old camcorders before moving to the smartphones. That's it. In summary, these compilations became very dull, repetitive, and previsible over the years. It used to be enjoyable, but after several years of the same formula and the same situations used over and over again, it's getting tiresome. And not just on the internet, but also on television, where it all started. For the past 30 years, we had plenty of TV shows with the same concept, showing funny home videos with the commentaries of a narrator in front of spectators like America's Funniest Home Videos, or not, like It Only Hurts When I Laugh. And now that this concept has been moved to the internet, with several specialized channels on YouTube, is it really necessary to have so many of these shows nowadays? Sure, it makes failed compilations accessible on both television and the internet, but that's pretty much the only good reason. Even America's Funniest Home Videos, one of the very first shows of this kind, has its own YouTube channel, and yet the TV show is still going. In fact, what if the opposite was done someday? What if we took a popular failed channel like Fail Army and made a TV show out of it? Yeah, what a stupid idea.
These are the members of Fail Army.
Oh, by the way, do you know when this show came out? In 2015, and it still uses this exact same 30 years old concept. And after 30 years of having narrators, comedians, or contributors telling commentaries or jokes while watching fail compilations, I don't think we can get anything new from this concept anymore. With all the compilations that you can easily find on YouTube, this is pretty much something you can do by yourself or with a couple of friends. I know that these TV shows are not expensive at all to produce and that people still enjoy them, but how about we try something new? Like using videos sent by people or found on the internet, but with a different concept. If you keep looking on YouTube, you can find the exact opposite of failed compilations, win compilations, where people can show their greatest talents and perform amazing tricks. A good TV show concept with these compilations would be to ask people to send videos showing their best tricks. And instead of just compiling and commenting these videos, we could also give the performers a chance to talk about their talents and how they develop them through their life. It would be like America's Got Talent or The Voice, but instead of being a competition, it would be a good occasion for these people to show their skills to the world, just for fun. That would be great. In fact, I think that some people would actually approve this idea. Of course, I know that I'm not popular on YouTube and my suggestion might not be noticed by a lot of people, but I've been complaining for several minutes already and I wanted to finish this video on a positive note. Because, yeah, I'm done. But I would like to make a summary of everything I said before we go. So, in summary, why do I dislike fail compilations nowadays? As I mentioned before, I don't really enjoy watching the pain of other people and to laugh at it, because of how empathic I became over the years. Of course, most of the time, the injuries are not that bad, and sometimes it can actually be funny. I don't have to feel empathy for these people all the time. But even with that in mind, after watching compilations or TV shows like these for several years, it can easily become dull, repetitive, easily previsible, and tiresome after a couple of minutes. And you know, even though the name of this video says that I hate fail compilations, I don't really hate them that much. I'm just tired of it. But does it mean that we should ban or prevent the release of more of these compilations? Of course not. There are still people who enjoy them. And for those who don't, there are many other kinds of funny or awesome compilations to watch. So what were my complaints for exactly? Why did I make such a long video about fail compilations? Well, I decided to do it not only to fix the mistake I've done in 2016 and to take this topic out of my mind, but also because I feel like I'm the only one complaining about fail compilations on the internet. Of course, it's not a trending, popular or important subject to talk about, but I thought that it would be a good occasion to try something new on my channel. And if you want, I could make more videos like this someday, like a real top 10 on a subject that I like.
So it is done.
Yes, I'm done. You can turn it off.
He's nice.